So today's episode is about interracial dating. We're going to call this Interracial Duo.
Okay.
Interracial duo.
Ashley, what do you consider yourself?
Explain your nationalities for the people that can't see you.
I am the black one. Just kidding. No, yeah, I'm African American, so.
True.
Okay.
Well, Scantron tells me I'm white. But besides that, yeah, no, I was born in America. I'm pretty white. I'm as white as it gets. My family's Italian and Jewish and a little Russian. But yeah, I'm second generation born here. So my dad and my mom were born here, but their parents were both born in Europe and Eastern Europe, which has changed countries a lot.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Do you feel different as far as dating goes? Like,
What do you mean? Feel different?
do people treat you different as far as being an interracial couple? When you're out, do you notice that you may be a little different? I know it's not really that different anymore to
Date
outside of your race, right? But in somewhat, especially with a white guy and a black girl, you normally see it the other way around, right? A black guy and a white girl. She got the white girl dating a black man hairdo, spritz, flopping. Look, short.
Fake ass.
It might be dyed red or whatever, but do people treat you different? Or do you notice?
Or do you notice that people treat you differently?
I'd say we used to notice a lot more at first. Like, oh, these people are looking at us weird at this bar. The only, big time it's been different is it was actually at the hospital, and I had a procedure, and they were bringing me back, and Jake was in the room waiting for me, like the wonderful boyfriend he is, and they were like, oh, we have the wrong room. He's like, nope, she's mine. Bring her on in, but,
That's
so
crazy.
that was the one time where it was like, oh, just because we're different colors, they think we weren't together. But other than that, I don't notice.
Yeah, I would say, well, do we notice? So, we live in the Northeast, right? We live in D.C., and our
Yeah.
families are in New York and in Virginia Beach, so we're all pretty, Northeast and all on the coast. So it's never really too crazy here. But, yeah, if we're in, a restaurant or, a bar, a party, or a show, and there's 100 couples, maybe 2 or 3 of them might be interracial. So, we definitely have noticed, other interracial couples, oh, they're just like us. You know what I mean? We say that sometimes when people pass by. And so it's noticeable, and some people will look a second time, but in the Northeast it's not that crazy. Yeah,
That's what I say. I don't think up here is really that big of a deal. This is the Northeast in general is just a big melting pot. It's usually everywhere else. It's like, oh my God, what is going on?
DC and New York and
Yeah.
Cali, it's always fine. You know what I mean?
So is this a preference for you all to date outside of your race or to date white?
Well, Jake is the first person, well, not the first person I've dated outside of my race, but definitely the first white person I've ever dated, so I wouldn't say it's a preference.
So was there an adjustment to dating outside of your race?
Was that ever a thing for you?
No, I think there were definitely some conversations, obviously, that you wouldn't have with somebody if you were dating within your race.
I don't know how to play spades. I'm very bad
Yeah.
at it.
I don't either. Don't feel bad.
Thanks, homie. Come to this barbecue with me on Saturday so we can sit together.
Did you say there?
Some knows come to this barbecue on Saturday so we can sit together and not play spades.
Seriously.
You don't feel like there was any type of adjustment or that either one of you ever had to code switch?
Any deeper understanding that you had to gain from dating outside of your race? I had to get used to this, or
He just, doesn't put on lotion. And that was really
is
the
that
biggest
what white
thing.
people think for real?
Everybody that
She
asked
told
me,
me I don't use moisturizer. It's so real.
I don't
That's
think
so
it's a
real.
white thing. I think it's a man thing.
oh, really?
Because I didn't use moisturizer
Yeah.
before I dated Ashley. I'll tell you that much.
Everybody was like, what's the difference? I'm like, everything's the same except for he doesn't wear lotion.
I definitely don't. I try to when we talk about it.
Well, let me ask you now. Was it because you don't get ashy?
Well, no, because I didn't know what that was, so no. So I
But
probably
he
didn't.
knows what ashy is now, because if I'm ashy, he'll lick
I'll
his
clown her. I'll
thumb.
clown her occasionally.
run it
Occasionally I'll clown her. You have to clown your. You have to clown your significant
So he's
other.
really hip to it being ashy.
It's like, oh, boo, get them elbows.
Yeah, he'll lick his thumb
I'll
and just
clown
rub it
her
across my
mostly because I know it bothers her, so I have a really good time bothering her about it. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
What did your parents say? Or did they say anything?
My mom didn't say anything. She's always been super supportive. This
Yeah.
isn't the first interracial relationship in my family. So she was just like, oh, yeah. I think she just wasn't surprised. And she was just concerned, like, oh, Jake, the one you work with? That was the bigger concern over, what he looked like.
Yeah, I was gonna say similar. Like, my parents weren't out of pocket. They didn't do anything crazy. Like, they didn't say anything super, super wild. I wasn't.
What you said, super, super wild.
So,
but what did
little
they
wild.
What
say?
was the embarrassing thing that they probably did that was like,
Again, I know a couple embarrassing things.
Did they like put Jay-Z and Beyonce on TV?
No, but like So my dad is a little more conservative. My mom is super Democrat, right? Which is like whatever, they're New Yorkers, so they fight about stuff, but nothing crazy. But at fucking Thanksgiving, of course, my dad wants to be like, I don't really think Colin Kaepernick should have taken a knee. First goddamn Thanksgiving, we're hanging out with Ashley. I'm not kidding. It's like the first time, and not even just hanging out with Ashley. It's like the first Thanksgiving that I have an older sister and a younger brother. The first time we ever bring a significant other to the Thanksgiving shit. My dad just decides at that moment to be like, I give a fuck about football, which my dad does not give that much of a fuck about football. So this came out of nowhere. But no, he's not a racist. That was an interesting
night.
Yeah, like that was the stupidest and probably the most adjusting, ridiculous thing that we had to do. And it was silly.
But his family jumped in. I didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. We just held hands under the table, and his mom was like, that's not right, and his sister jumped in.
Yeah, they're both super New Yorkers, so they took him to house for like an hour and a half. And me and Ashley just kind of sat there while they like ripped my dad apart, because it was small, but it was very silly.
Would your dad go, what?
He's just like, because he's just an old Italian man, so he didn't get it. He's just like, well, I pay for the theater, and I don't want to pay for the AIDS donation. I just want to watch the show. And I was just like, yo, that doesn't make any.
Did say that.
Like, he was just making points that didn't help him, and just like my sister and my dad and my mom just buried him for like an hour and a half, and me and Ashley sat there, and I was like, this was a great first Thanksgiving. I was like, this is as smooth as this could have went.
Did it make you uncomfortable?
That's a great question. I never really asked you that.
Did it make you uncomfortable?
It made me really uncomfortable that I did. It made me really comfortable that I didn't have to defend myself or defend my view, because I was going to speak up on it. I was going to be like, oh, well, here's what I think, But I didn't have to intervene there at all. I was really worried that the food was going to like not be seasoned, but it was bomb. His mom made the best stuffing ever. The only thing, I'm not going to say that. She's going to listen to this.
That's why I said that doesn't count, because Italians, that's a different breed.
I was really concerned.
My dad was a little bit too.
And not only do they cook a little bit, they can season. That's what's important. Anybody can throw chicken and cook.
She taught me how to do some sexy shit with a bag and a whole bunch of seasoned stuff that I didn't know. Boy.
Best stuffing I've ever had.
Really?
Yeah. And his mom's like super welcoming, and they're cool people.
They're both good people.
I was scared though. It is kind of scary going into like a different family's home, and there's different cultures. I was definitely apprehensive.
Did you think about it as a race thing when you were going into his home, or was it like I'm just scared to meet his parents? Is it like, oh, I'm black and...
I guess a little bit of both, because I was just like, I wonder if this is going to be really different. Like, I'm used to my family just acting a fool, everybody's drinking, I have the drunk uncles. And it's also hard for Jake when he meets my family. My mom's one of 11, and she has 9 brothers and 1 sister. So I have 9 huge uncles that were just like ready, because I don't really bring people home like that. So I think he was probably more scared than I was.
Were you scared, Jake?
I wouldn't use the word scared, but there's definitely like... There's a stigma about a white person coming into that situation, like taking their, beautiful baby girl away. And like, of course, that's not what I'm trying to do, right? Like, I love and support this girl, so I want to hang out with this family and do whatever. No one's being taken away from anything. Yeah. And when you talk about 9 uncles, and like, Ashley's always, and in the best way possible, like the center of attention, does things for parties, like supports these people, like when there is these family gatherings, gets food together, like you are the giver in that situation. And so like, I never wanted them to ever feel like I was taking any of that away from them, or being like destroying their culture or their family by loving a member of it. You know what I mean? So like that was a thing I thought about. But we've done 1 or 2 things with the family. We're going down this weekend, and it's always been good. It's always never been a bad thing. Like I have no malintent.
It's never been awkward or anything for you.
No,
that's good.
No, not yet.
Both of our families are very welcoming.